same. Oh look, 2 revisions of the DVD.
Hold them up a bit.
Now this one got rejected by the producer. I don't know why. I ended up going with this.
You scroll it down a bit.
Spot the difference. Yeah, anyway.
I think the first one's better.
Yeah, so do I, but that wasn't the point, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, so just tell us about that then. So you had a producer?
Yeah, I mean basically someone I met through a kind of mutual friend who was interested in making a film, who was a good writer as well, still is a good writer. He basically wrote up an idea I'd had brewing for many years, which started off as like a black comedy, dark drama, been through many iterations and ended up being a film about a guy making a film. So he wrote a lot of the comedy and a lot of the structure and made it a completed script basically, which I would never have got around to doing on my own basically.
So writer, producer?
Yeah, and he also produced in terms of line production. He did a lot of the organisation. He did a lot of logistics work, and that's, I think there's a cast of like between 12 and 14 core characters there. I mean, if you look at everyone there, that's pretty much the entire cast and crew. Shifting those people around every day for 10 days was not a lot of fun. So that was lesson number 1, was if you don't want to spend a lot of money, don't have a lot of people in every day. Because this was all funded on credit cards, which basically I would say I only really finally rid myself of that entire debt a couple of months ago, and this was shot in 2004.
So that's like 6 years of credit card debt.
Yeah, and obviously credit card debt just puts you in a frame of mind for spending more, getting into further debt.
So what did you do? Spend it on more films?
Kit. I mean, I went through a phase of reigniting my career as a sound recordist. Because when I was living in London in the mid-90s, I was doing work as a sound recordist. Again, indie scene, very much fringe work. But totally got into the old Nagas, the reel-to-reel tape.
No, I don't.
And all that stuff. I'll have to put up a picture of one. I haven't got one, obviously.
Basically, you spent money on gear.
Yeah, which one of the reasons I was doing that was because I knew a lot of indies can't afford competent sounds, and I've always regarded myself as competent with sound. Even when I make compromises, I understand the compromises I'm making. For example, shooting with an iPhone, as a sound recordist, it's all about microphone placement, and with an iPhone which doesn't have a zoom, although September the 10th it may have a zoom, your audio perspective will match your visual perspective in general, and obviously if you get a medium close of someone, it sounds like a medium close. I mean, if in this interview, if the microphone was here, if there was a microphone dropped in, I'm sure it would sound brilliant, but in documentary terms, it doesn't really matter that I don't have a crystal clear voice between sort of me and the phone there. Whereas obviously, if it was a Hollywood feature, I only want to capture what's coming out of my mouth and none of the atmos, none of my son downstairs on his Xbox, which you can probably hear as well. But that's life, that's reality, right?
I'm chopping it there.